You might know the following. It is one of the most famous Jajanan Pasar from Indonesia. Then you might wonder, what is Jajanan Pasar? It is a traditional snack from the local markets in Indonesia. And this time a sweet snack, green balls with coconut. Then I think a bell will ring. That is the Klepon, super delicious. It is with me. In the family, also one of the favorites. So do you want to know how to make this? Stay tuned. See you soon. Hi everyone, welcome back to Megarasa. I am Mega and today we are going to make the Klepon. Well, this is undoubtedly and absolutely the favorite of my husband and my youngest daughter because they love coconut. It is deliciously sticky and inside there is just delicious sweetness of Gula Jawa. So we will start right away. We are going to put it in, make two parts. This time we will start with the outside. The outside is a bit strange, but okay. That is, so to speak, the coconut. So what do you need? Dried coconut flakes, coconut milk, pandan leaves, and a small pinch of salt. Of course, I won't use everything. It's just a small pinch. That pandan, by the way, looks like this. A very long, yes, what is it? Leaf. I personally believe that this indeed definitely and undoubtedly still belongs to the category of grass-type plants. And it smells really, truly, absolutely, and incredibly super delicious. And if you buy it at the supermarket, you can find it, by the way, you can buy it fresh in the cooling section, but I usually buy it frozen in the freezer section because it's just cheaper. And you get quite a lot. Then it looks such as this. They are really those very long leaves, so to speak. I must say before you use it, you should just wash it thoroughly and well, because usually there is some dirt on the bottom. So look carefully, just like here, as you can see. Just clean the bottom like that. Okay, well then let's start with the coconut flakes. Grab my spoon. We are going to steam all of this shortly. Oh yes, I also want to prepare this. I have here a pot. Normally I steam in a steamer. And I often get a question like, Mega, if I don't have a steamer, what should I use then? Well, I have a large pot. And then I basically have aluminum foil here. You can essentially make balls out of it, but I just do it neatly. I just fold it and I just put it in there. And then you also take a container that, of course, fits in the pot. So let's see, does it fit? Well, it fits. And then next, I've already boiled some water because this takes quite a while. I'll fill this. There. And soon the coconut flakes will go right in over here. And then it can just steam nicely. I will bring it to a boil. It's already a bit warm, so it doesn't take too long. Let's see. Okay, I'll close it so it goes a bit faster. All right, and then we absolutely continue with the freshly grated coconut. And here, I simply add in the rich and creamy coconut milk. And so just a pinch of salt, really just a little pinch. Because yes, indeed, the dish is naturally sweet on the inside. So if you make the outside a bit more, yes, absolutely a bit of saltiness. Then it just gives a really nice flavor. It actually comes a little bit more of a pause here and there. The sweetness more pronounced. And I just make this a little wet because that is naturally dried and completely. Then I want it to stick very nicely so that it will absolutely and securely adhere to the Klepon later. The water is gently and steadily boiling, and then I carefully and slowly turn it down a bit, allowing it to slowly and gently simmer, gradually, continuously, and steadily. And then I have the pandan leaf here. Usually I just make a little knot out of it, just a bit more carefully and gently, making sure it's neat. Then it's not too long. I put it in, and then the coconut flakes in. I put the pandan leaf in, of course, because of the delicious aroma. It naturally gives a super delicious aroma to the coconut. And then the klepon tastes even better. We need to ensure everything is ready before proceeding. Okay, and then the lid goes on. Once everything is set, we carefully place the lid on top of the container, and then we wait for about 10 minutes. After securing the lid, we patiently wait for approximately 10 minutes to allow the process to complete. Now we move on to part 2. That is making the dough. And before I continue, I noticed that some people do really watch my video, but not yet. Everyone is also subscribed. So if you are not subscribed yet, just click on that button. Then you will see occasionally me pass by with new delicious things that you can make. And don't forget to also give a thumbs up. And if you are definitely interested in seeing what I make in my daily life, then you can also please make sure to follow my Instagram, that is Megarasa TV. We will now continue with the pandan extract and stay updated with our latest content. Oh, I need scissors for a moment. We are going to make pandan extract from real pandan. I thought I would do it differently this time because I, of course, bought that pandan in the supermarket, and there is actually quite a lot of pandan in it. Indeed, you know, I have about 5 here. Let me see. Yes, I absolutely have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You definitely see it. It is indeed quite long. We are going to cut this, and then it can go in my chopper. I just cut them into smaller pieces so that it is just easier and faster, can blend. If you don't have a chopper, you can of course also use a blender. So, and then I have here, let me see, I have about 120 ml of water here. That goes into, indeed, you know, the water I used is, just so you are aware, by the way, a bit warmer as well, because I find it easier to make the dough later. Okay. All right, so that's ready. Then we will proceed to clean the lid thoroughly and carefully and ensure it is completely spotless. And then you need a sieve. And then I have a measuring cup here. I can definitely do it better there. That's where all that juice from the pandan leaf comes from. The aroma of the pandan leaves is incredibly delightful and fills the air with a sweet, fragrant scent that is both refreshing and invigorating. So, I really want to have everything. Take everything with me. Okay, and we are just simply going to press this out right now. As you can clearly observe, a significant amount of fresh and vibrant pandan juice is still continuously flowing out. By the way, if you have a clean cloth, you can do that better. Then you can really press it well. Just take all the juice. Today I'm just doing it this way, quick and easy. As you can clearly see, there is still quite a substantial amount of juice coming out indeed. I personally think it is indeed good. Yes, absolutely. Until the very last drop. All right, so now we are going to get the rest of the additional ingredients. Here, I have the glutinous rice flour with me, and this was exactly precisely 300 grams in total. By the way, if you really don't remember, how many grams was it? Or how many milliliters? I put everything on my website, then you can just look back. How many grams? And if you have questions, put that in the comments. Then I can answer your questions directly as well. And now, the coconut milk goes in. I will just start gently and slowly stirring with the wooden spatula. And later, we will just carefully and thoroughly knead the dough. Little by little, slowly and carefully. I must not forget a very small but crucial pinch of salt. And then the pandan extract slowly and naturally comes in. And normally, I also usually use the pandan extract that you can typically buy at the Asian supermarket, as well as from the local grocery store. Let me just show you. It looks exactly like this. It indeed comes in a small bottle. But yes, I have. Now just fresh pandan, so I thought, well, why not just make it with fresh pandan? But if you think, well, Mega, that's too much hassle, or you don't have a blender, you can of course just use this instead. And then you can simply and carefully just add a few more drops to the dough. And then you can also determine the color yourself, whether you add a few more drops because you want more green, because you want a little bit more of a darker color. But I'm just making it nice with fresh pandan now. Just a little bit more. It seems like it's indeed really starting to get quite a bit more difficult to stir with that large ladle now. Certainly. Then I will just continue with my hands for a moment, perhaps. I am kneading it right now, and you can see that the glutinous rice flour is still somewhat dry, so I will add a little more. Add a small amount of the pandan water to the mixture, because it really needs to be easy to knead and manageable, but not sticky to your hands anymore. A little bit of patience is key. By the way, if you think, I don't find it green enough, you want it just like this. To have it as green as what they sell in the supermarket, you can always add pandan extract from the small bottle, or just add a green food coloring. In the meantime, I will continue kneading. If you think, well, Mega, I know, really don't remember what you have all put in it. I just do it. I write everything down, at least. I type everything on my website, and that is megarasa.com, so you can find all the recipes there. Kneading was quite a task after all. But yes, you can also do it you can use a food processor, but I think with Klepon, you really need to feel how the dough is. And right now, it really just actually feels like clay. I'm going to see if I can make a beautiful ball, because it needs to be kneadable, but not sticky. As you can see, it doesn't stick to your hands. And I can definitely make a nice ball out of it. I think it's good like this. And then we are going to now fill it with Gula Jawa. Let's see. I'll set that aside for a moment. And then I have the Gula Jawa here. And I'm just going to cut this into pieces. You can of course do it in small pieces. Only sometimes when you put it in the water later, then it hasn't completely melted. So usually I just chop the Gula Jawa for a moment. As you can see, it is quite warm here. It's a bit soft, so that works out well. I'm just chopping it a little bit more because then it will melt, so that it will melt a little faster soon, actually, as you can see. In the meantime, I'm just going to actually turn on the water right now. By the way, as you can see, those coconut flakes are already currently ready. Well, ta-da! I'm just going to quickly take a look around. Just stir a little bit. Let's see. It smells really delicious. And you can also see that the pandan has become a bit darker now. It smells really wonderful. I can actually remove this for a moment. The pandan leaf has already done its job. Just simply remove it, and then I'm just actually going to indeed swap this out for a moment. And here I already have a pot with about 1 liter of water or so. I'm going to turn that on, approximately. I'm also going to bring that to a boil. In the meantime, I'm going to continue chopping. In my opinion, I believe that the current situation or condition we are discussing is quite satisfactory and meets the... And then I just take the dough. Yes. How exactly big are you actually going to make it? It's really, yes, as big as you want. Well, what I usually take is about, yes, what is it? You always have those nice big cherries. I always like that little size. Just good for a Klepon, I think, because then it can just go hop in one go in your mouth. You can also, if you are indeed very precise, of course, use a scale. But I think I just do it, yes, literally as big as I want it. I want to have, as it were, in a manner of speaking. So this is about cherry size. And what you definitely shouldn't do next is absolutely flatten it. Some people, without any hesitation or doubt, flatten it. And this is something to be extremely and very cautious about. But I don't do that. I actually just make just a little dent in the middle. I personally find it easier myself, honestly speaking. Just make a little dent, a small indentation, or perhaps a small groove. And then I fill it with a small spoon. Then I put the Gula Jawa in the middle and then squeeze. I make sure to close the dough again carefully. This step is crucial because the Gula Jawa, a type of palm sugar, needs to be securely sealed inside. If the dough isn't closed properly, the Gula Jawa could leak out during cooking, affecting the dishes. Doesn't come out. That it doesn't leak. It really must not leak. Absolutely. And then roll it well again. That it becomes very nice and smooth. So here is the Gula Jawa now, as you can clearly observe. Right here in front of us, just as expected. In the meantime, all the balls are ready. I have now, how many have there actually been? The cameraman certainly indeed additionally helped. However, as you can see, he makes some of, what is it? A ping pong ball instead of cherries. We start off well and then it gets bigger towards the end, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We're going now. The water is boiling vigorously, and now we are going to carefully put the Klepon in the pot. We will not put all of them in at once, of course, to ensure they cook evenly and perfectly. This method allows each Klepon to have enough space to cook thoroughly, resulting in a delightful texture and taste. With Klepon, it's actually very easy because you actually know when a Klepon is ready. When it just floats to the top, look, the water is boiling now. I'll turn it down a bit. It definitely shouldn't boil too much, of course. It just needs to be a little bit calmer so that it cooks well. I was already telling, so you can really easily see on the balls when they are ready. When the Klepon is ready, then it will float to the surface and then it's ready. And then you can just simply take it out, and then we will go to the steamed grated coconut. The last ones are also ready. They are also floating to the top. They will also go into the coconut. Carefully and gently roll the delightful mixture several times in the finely shredded coconut, ensuring that every part is thoroughly and evenly coated. This will create a deliciously tempting appearance that is sure to please anyone who sees it. Look, and the delicious traditional Indonesian dessert, the klepon, is ready. I have counted, and indeed there are exactly 45 sweet klepons in total on the plate. Enough for the whole family, I would definitely say. Well, 45, I think 50 if my husband hadn't made those ping pong balls. We would have reached 50, I think, but well, he definitely naturally likes those big balls. In this particular recipe, we have decided to incorporate a slightly larger amount of Gula Jawa, which is a traditional Indonesian palm sugar known for its rich and complex flavor profile. This adjustment enhances the sweetness and depth of the dish. Meanwhile, I will take the opportunity to gather the remaining coconut shavings, which will add a delightful texture and a hint of tropical aroma to our culinary creation. Looks absolutely comfortable. This is indeed really a party. If you have this, you can of course also, for example, make it when you have a high tea, when you have a birthday. That is of course really great, fun to make. And you can also make it in advance. Personally, I really like it warm to eat, but at room temperature, it is indeed of course also super tasty. Let's take a look. I have now opened one and the inside has just become a bit syrupy. It is really super delicious. I am really going to put it in my mouth now. I find the dish to be incredibly delicious and flavorful, with a unique blend of spices that make it stand out, something that I truly enjoy savoring. Please excuse me for not speaking while I'm still chewing my food, as it is considered impolite to talk with my mouth full. It is really nice and soft, nice and sticky, and nice and sweet, and you still have that saltiness from the coconut and that pandan aroma. It is just really delicious. I would say try it at home, but if you think of, I really don't feel like rolling so many meatballs. It's also really super fun, of course, to do together with the children, together with the family, because you see it 45 to 50 meatballs, so it's really enough for everyone. So I would say try it at home. I'm just going to enjoy my klepon for a bit longer. If you like this video, don't forget to like and also to definitely subscribe, of course, if you make it, share it on Instagram. Hello everyone watching on our Megarasa TV. I am thrilled to be here and share my thoughts with you. I would really love it if you could also make Klepon, which is one of my favorite traditional Indonesian snacks. It's a delightful treat made from glutinous rice flour filled with palm sugar and coated in grated coconut. I remember the first time I tried it, the burst of sweet syrup was unforgettable. Thank you so much for considering my request. I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. Okay, bye and take care.